Hey guys, it's been a really long time, but I'm ready to get back into making videos. So this video is kind of a belated my favorite books of 2016, even though it's already happened in January. So I have a list of 8 books in no descending order. My 8th favorite book this year was Cinder by Marissa Meyer, and I ended up actually reading the 3 books in the series that were out for all of 2015. So I read Cinder, Scarlet, and Crest, and I really enjoyed this series. I was really reluctant to pick it up for a long time, but as soon as I picked it up, like, it was really good. Like, in theory, I didn't think it would be that good. It was kind of odd concept to me, but it was really good, and yeah, I really like the series. I've read all 3 books like back to back, and I still haven't picked up Winter, and I really want to pick that up, and I also want to read Fairest, so gonna be doing that sometime in the next couple months. Hopefully next month, this month, I hope. Okay, my 7th favorite book this year is The Tyrant's Daughter by J.C. Carlson. And this book, it was really good. I got it off of Book Outlet, and it's not really a popular book. I haven't really heard anything else about it. But honestly, it made me think a little bit differently about a lot of things. This book is really important, especially for what's been going on like now and like this time. I think this book is a really strong message. Everyone should definitely read this book, and it would definitely open their eyes. And yeah, it's really good. I really enjoyed it. 6th favorite book of this year is Revolution by Jennifer Donnelly. Also did not hear anything about this book this year besides myself. This book is another one that's really good, and more people should read it. It was like a mixture of like historical fiction and science fiction, which I really liked, but it was like, it starts off with like modern day. It takes place in Brooklyn, and then it goes to Paris. She goes to Paris, and so it's in Paris. This part is just her kind of reading about history and like learning about it and everything. But then as the book goes on, it's like has a time travel ish part of it. It's really good. It was kind of sad at some points, because some things like happen in this book. It's like you already know what's gonna happen at some parts because it's history, and you know that's what happens in history. You know that, but it makes you kind of wish it didn't happen. That it could have a different ending, and so it's kind of bittersweet. But it was a really good book. I really enjoyed it. My 5th favorite book of this year, I don't have the physical copy of, because I lent it out and I still haven't gotten it back. Shout out to Josh. But I did steal the dust cover. What is it called? The outside. I stole this. So I have the jacket of the book, and it is Landline by Rainbow Rowell. This was the first Rainbow Rowell book I picked up, and let me tell you, I don't know why I never picked them up before. I was like so set on the fact that I don't read contemporary anymore. I just assumed, I was like, stupid love stories, I'm not gonna like them. I'm gonna think they're like stupid. What good book has a happy ending? No. This book was really good because it was, I don't know, it was really good. And it's one of the lesser known Rainbow Rowell books. And it's the only reason I picked it up first is because I saw it on Book Outlet for really cheap. So I was like, oh, let me order it, let me try it. It hit me right in the feels. I liked it because it wasn't only like it wasn't just plain contemporary. It was like time travel. Not really though. It's like she could communicate with her husband in the past on a phone in her mom's house or in her parents' house. And it was really interesting. I really liked it. I thought it made me happy, it made me sad. It made me want to like shake the main character, because some points I was just like, how could you not understand? Like, how are you not seeing this? Just like, I was like, I knew what she had to do the entire book, and she wasn't doing it, and she didn't understand what she had to do yet, so I was like, ugh, I wanted to shake her, but it was really good. 4th favorite book this year I don't have, because I lent this book out to Allie, who still hasn't read it. I gave it to her at the end of the summer. She still hasn't read it, and she still has it. This book is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabah Tahir. And I first heard about this book when I was watching a video by a book Utopia. She described it in science fiction fantasy-ish book based off of ancient Rome. And like I'm obsessed with Rome. Like I love like ancient Rome, all that stuff. I was like, I have to get this book. So like a week later I ordered it on Amazon, book that I've read this year, and I feel like there's so many book tropes in like science fiction especially that are really overdone that I've read 25 books like that this year. Even if everyone was really good, it's like still like the same idea, and I feel like this one was really different and I really like that about it. My third favorite book this year I don't have a physical copy of as well. I have it on my phone. It's an iBook, and it is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas by John Boyne, I think it is. I don't know how to say last names. It takes place in World War II, and I really liked how it was from the perspective of a little kid, because you don't, other than The Book Thief, which is my all-time favorite book, you don't really get much of that. You get it more in young adult novels from teenagers or in adult novels from adults. But I feel like you don't really, and like you don't really get that much from little kids. And this book is about a particularly very, very young kid. It's not just that he's like 13 years old or 12 years old. I mean, his father's in charge of a concentration camp, and he doesn't know what it is. He's basically he's so naive to it, and he doesn't realize why they're hurting these people, and he doesn't even know that his father's doing it. He doesn't really believe that his father could do that. And he meets a little boy in the camp, like they talk through the fence, and then, this book, like I don't want to give anything away. It was one of the saddest books I've read all year. But it just made you feel like, when I finished it, I kind of just sat in my bed and cried for like an hour. It kind of made me feel like empty inside. And I was like a puddle of tears. It was funny because I didn't expect it at all. All of a sudden, it was like, it ended. And that was it. And I was like, oh my gosh. What just happened? Why did that just happen? Why? And it's just, oh my gosh. I can't say any more about that book. My second favorite book of 2015 was a book that I really saw a lot of people's favorite books of 2014. Mine was Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, and a lot of people have already read this book, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but if you haven't read this book, you need to read this book. I was so reluctant to, because I was like, oh, it's kind of a weird concept, like, why would, I don't know if I'd like that, but like, I heard such good things about it that I was like, I'm gonna have to. So I picked it up, and I read it. It's actually a really long book, almost 400 pages. Definitely my favorite science fiction standalone ever. But it might be my favorite science fiction. It's either that or the Gone series, I don't know. But it was so epic. It made me feel like a nerd, and I loved it. It, like, even though it takes place in the future, it's like so 80s. Like, the society is very 80s, so it makes you feel like it took place in the past with like futuristic things going on. I can't even say anything, but it's so good. And the characters are so like well developed, and oh, it was just the adventure and the everything that happened in this book. It was so good. Okay, I can't say anything else. And last but not least, my all-time favorite book of 2015 is Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wayne. When I first picked up this book, I originally I was trying to find a like rebound from The Book Thief. I was trying to find a book that was just as good as that. And this is not, nothing can compete with The Book Thief. That's like my favorite book. But this book is really close. And it took me a while to get into it, I'm not gonna lie. No, it took me like a week to read the first 50 pages. Once you got into it, I think once I hit page 100, I read it in 2 days. It was like kind of similar to The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. It's like that ending where you're like, what just happened? Why did that have to happen? And it kind of just leaves you feeling empty again. And it's like, oh my gosh. It's like the biggest plot twist at the end. And it's like oh my gosh, it put me through so much, this book. And it's like all the awful things that happen in this book. That's what was different from Boy in the Striped Pajamas. So this book kind of like had a lot of bad stuff going on throughout it. It wasn't just the ending was really bad. It was like the entire thing was like struggle through struggle through struggle, and then finally you're like, oh my gosh, like it's over. Like struggles, like they're gonna be able to resolve everything, even though it's World War II. But like they're gonna be able to fix most things, and then just ends, and it's awful. But it's so good at the same time. And I was just like, I needed to tell people about it. So just, if you haven't read this, please read it. That's it for my favorite books of 2015. I'm sorry that this is late, and I'm sorry that I haven't made a video in like 2 months, maybe, I don't know. But I will hopefully be making a bunch more in the coming year, and I hope you guys had a really awesome 2015, and I hope 2016 is even better to you, because this year is gonna be great. I can feel it. That sounded so cliche. See you guys next time in my next video. Bye!